Hey, thanks for coming back. It is Austin here, and we are about to put on the Pro Comp 3-in-1 lift kit or spacer leveling kit to get the Tundra where it should be riding. So I took a little bit of measurements beforehand. The driver's side is exactly 3 inches difference from the front to back, and the passenger side is exactly 2 inches. And I measured from the wheel to the top of the fender so that we weren't having to adjust for tire inflation. And I thought that was kind of weird. I figured it'd be the same, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to get that installed, and I'm gonna try to bring you along and see if I don't get too frustrated. So stick with me and we'll see how it turns out. We're using a 7/8 inch socket. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side and get these wheels taken off. So now that we have both wheels off on the other side, we're going to get the skid plate off. You have screw here, here, missing one here, and then we got one I believe back here that we'll have to get to. So these little screws are 10 millimeter. And then the next ones that are here, here, and here are all 12 millimeter. So the first step, once you get the skid plate off, is to remove the sway bar end link bolts, which is a 19 millimeter from each side. So you want to make sure to put a mark on your camber pins to make sure that you can realign them tentatively until you can get in alignment. So once you get the cam nuts loose, what you have to do is take the bolts off the bottom of the spindle. This is the spindle, and it attaches right here. So there's a bolt here, and then you skip the castle nut, which is on the ball bearing, and there's another one right here. So you take those two off, put a jack underneath here to kind of support it a little bit underneath the spindle, and then raise it up. Actually, you could probably put the jack underneath the lower control arm right here to support it, and then take the 2 spindle bolts out, and that'll allow the lower control arm to slowly creep down. And then you'll take out those 2 spindle bolts, and then you'll take out this bolt, the bottom bolt of the coilover. So we're gonna do that now. All right, so now we have taken the spindle bolts out from down here, and we've taken the coilover shock bolt and nut out, and the sway bar we took out earlier, sway bar end link. So now we want to loosen the nuts on the top of the coil. And once we do that, we can lower the jack, which will allow the strut to come out of its hole down there, and then we can pull it out. So we're just going to undo this. All right, we got it out. So now we can put this spacer on it. Finally get to what we were wanting to do instead of just taking everything apart. All right, so you can see on here, this says out right there. This is out, so you want to make sure that you keep everything aligned with that. Here's my Pro Comp spacer. I don't think this matters how this goes on necessarily. Okay, so it does matter. So, sorry you can't see that very well, but see the notches right there on top of the spacer, and then you can see the O from out. Those have to be lined up because it is not a perfect rectangle. It's a little bit, well, it's just not a perfect rectangle. So those have to be lined up. And now we're gonna put on the nuts and we'll put it back in. That's fun. So let me grab the factory nuts and we'll get those put on. I'm gonna add a little Loctite.
Oh, this one doesn't work.
So then you just go ahead and tighten those on and put it back. You go ahead and tighten it in a cross pattern. And I'll give these a little bit more of a torque down once they're on the truck. But I want to make sure they're as tight as they can be now because I don't know what my clearance will be once we're on the truck. Well, those are on there as tight as they're gonna get. So you just take your spacer and the nuts that it comes with. We got 8 in here. Let's see if these fit the same. Yep, these are all 14 millimeter. So we're gonna go ahead and slide this back in just like we took it out, and I'll show you guys what it looks like once we get it back in. I'm gonna make sure the appropriate side is facing out. Whew, that was hard. Now that we have the nuts in, we want to put the bolt back in for the shock. This nut goes on the rear side of the vehicle if you're on the passenger. If you're on the passenger. You might need to keep the nuts loosened at the top of the shock tower so that you can get this, the bottom of the shock back in its place. Whew, that was hard to get to. Hard to get in. Dang. Hot dang. So then you go ahead and put the nut on the other side. Never drop it. Man, I gotta do this again on the other side. Good thing you guys don't have to watch. This is the first side. Why'd I film the first side? That was dumb. Man, if you guys ever try to make a YouTube video, don't film the first side. Whew, sorry about that. Hope you're enjoying at least a little bit. Learning something maybe. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and put that nut back on and get the nuts tightened at the top of the coilover, and we'll start getting it buttoned back up. All right, so I just finished the passenger side up, and the bolts to hold on the spindle, getting them back in took me 2 hours. So know that that is the hardest part. It really helps if you put a long crowbar up underneath here to push down on the upper control arm to force all the spindle down so that you can connect the bolts. That really helps, because this was a bear. So I don't know, I almost didn't get it done. But we're done with this side. I'm gonna tighten up the lower control arm bolts, and then we'll be done once I do the other side. But stay to the end and you guys can see what it looks like. I am here after finishing the 3-inch front spacer lift on the Tundra, and I'm just gonna show you some measurements so you can see the spacer right in there, right on top of the coilover shock. And I just wanted to show you what the front measures out to now. So you line up the tape measure with the ground in the center of the wheel, and you come in, and it is 39 inches on the front, which on the passenger side is a 3-inch lift. So the front is the same on the driver's side. It's exactly 39 inches both front and back. But the passenger side, for whatever reason, is showing a 1/2 inch height difference. The front is now a 1/2 inch higher than the back. So I was planning to do this anyways, but I'm going to be adding a 1-inch block to the back, which I'm going to do right now. I don't know if that's going to be a separate video or part of the front spacer video, but I just wanted to let you guys know it's off by a little bit. I'm not exactly sure why, but I'll post some pictures. I don't know if you can, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell in the garage, but I'll post a picture of the side and you can kind of see that. But we're going to be doing the rear block install, which hopefully isn't as difficult. I've read it's pretty easy. So we're going to go ahead and start that. And if it's not in this video, definitely check the next video because it will be up there. So I hope you guys have enjoyed, and we're going to get this started so that everything matches. All right, thanks for watching.